Now we want to really turn our attention to our keynote speaker, and it is a great pleasure for me to bring forward the newly elected chair of the Board of Directors of the Rural Center, Grant Godwin. Grant and I go back a long time. We first met in the early 2000s in Allegheny County, and Grant has provided just outstanding leadership. He's one of those rare individuals, and I really believe it is rare, that has had the great privilege in his professional career of working at a high level in both the public sector and the private sector. So he truly understands the good, the bad, and the ugly of both. And he understands how to make the two work together. And that is a true gift, and it's a pretty rare individual that has that experience. Bill Gibson made the call a few weeks ago to Grant to see whether or not he would accept the chairmanship of the board as Bill passed the gavel yesterday. And Grant's answer was an unequivocal, if you believe I'm the right person for the job, I'll do it. Well, he is absolutely the right person for the job at the right point in the right time. And it's a great pleasure for me to introduce the chair of the board of the Rural Center, Grant Godwin.
Thank you, Patrick. I wish I could do a good Clint Eastwood impersonation there. I'm honored to introduce our luncheon speaker, Darrin Williams. And Darrin was nice enough. He wrote a lot of good things down by himself. And if I read them all, I would infringe upon his speaking time. And I'll try and hit the highlights and do him justice. Darrin comes to us from the state of Arkansas. He holds legal degrees from Vanderbilt and Georgetown, served a number of years in private law practice, was with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and was Chief Deputy Attorney General in the state of Arkansas. At some point through there, he realized the error of his ways in the profession he had chosen, and he left law and got into business, and became the CEO of Southern Bancorp. And Southern Bancorp is one of the nation's largest community development banks in terms of working with underserved communities and with innovative financial services and practices. He is Speaker Pro Tem with the Arkansas House of Representatives. And from a professional standpoint, he has been recognized nationwide in terms of being an advocate for small business, for his role in public leadership, and as a leader with in a leadership position with the Aspen Institute, and has been recognized as a legislator to be watched by Governing Magazine. I could go on with a lot of other details about his career and what he's like as a person. But that's not why you're going to listen to him. You are going to listen because he is personally and professionally committed and has inspired many others across the nation to join him in working to improve the economies of rural communities and the livelihoods of rural residents. I give you Darrin Williams.
Grant, thank you for that kind introduction. You did a very good job reading what I sent you. I'm excited to be with you all today, this afternoon. It is such a pleasure and honor to have been invited, and I appreciate, Patrick, the invitation. And Patrick, let me thank you because you have made this trip completely easy. I mean, from picking me up at midnight last night to make sure everything was ready for me today, I appreciate it. It's been such a pleasant experience, and I really appreciate this opportunity to join you here at the Rural Center and the Rural Assembly. I feel like I've come to see one of my cousins. We have quite a bit in common. Rural North Carolina and rural Arkansas and Mississippi are quite a bit alike. And listening to the previous panel, listening to some of the challenges you face, I can tell you we're probably first or second cousins. We've got quite a bit in common, a lot of challenges, and I'm looking forward to continue to hear what's happening here. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about what we're doing. I want to also acknowledge all the elected officials in the room and those who work for elected officials. As Grant said, I am the Speaker Pro Tem of the Arkansas General Assembly, so let me get the politics out of the way with real quick. I feel required to do some of that. But I want to say just a couple of words about my good friend Josh Stein, Senator Stein, who represents Wake County, doing outstanding. Somebody said, yeah, Josh, you figure out who that is over there. Absolutely, let's give him a hand. Absolutely. You know, Josh he's committed not just to Wake County, but to all of North Carolina, whether he's promoting education, which truly education lifts folks from poverty to prosperity, give them opportunity. He's also about expanding access to health care, and our rural communities need that so much. He's really worked to try to attract more doctors to rural communities. He's worked protecting our environment. I could go on and on about all the things that he's done, and I'm just so happy to call him a friend, and I hope you are just as happy to have him serving you as a state senator here in North Carolina. Now, he's got a race coming up, and he's working hard to make sure that he wins this re-election and goes back to the General Assembly to represent you. And you heard in my bio that I'm a former Chief Deputy Attorney General. And I thought one day I might run for AG, and who knows, I may. And I hope Josh won't get mad at me saying this. When he runs for Attorney General, I'm coming back to work for his campaign to help him win. We're going to bring him to Arkansas, help him raise a little money. I'm going to make sure he gets there because he would be great as Attorney General. He's not looking past his Senate race. I'm just saying he's going to win that one. And I'm already pushing him to the AG's office. So you guys help me get him there. He'd be great in that position. Now, rural America faces a number of challenges, and you guys live there like I do. You know the challenges that we face in rural America. Our population is declining. About 15% of Americans call rural America home. Rural America takes about, the folks who live there take about 72% of our land mass, but our population is declining. We lag behind in education. We lag behind in health care. We lag behind in job growth, more people on public assistance, and we can go on and on and on. We know all the challenges that face us. But the Rural Center, much like Southern Bancorp, we also see opportunities. We see hope. And so we're excited to be here and talk to you just a little bit about what we're doing at Southern Bancorp to continue to inspire hope and take advantage of opportunities that we see at Southern Bancorp. So I want to tell you just a little bit about Southern Bancorp. I've got a number of slides and a bunch of videos in here, and if everything goes right, it'll all work well. Sometimes it doesn't work for me. But I want to start by showing you a video about our founding. We are blessed to have been founded some 25, 30 years ago by some really visionary leaders, including Bill and Hillary Clinton, Rob Walton from the Walmart family, Muhammad Yunus, former Nobel Peace Prize winner who worked to bring loans and microloans to poor people in Indonesia, and so many other visionary leaders who put this organization in motion. And I want you to hear directly from them and some of our current leaders, including myself, on what we do. So let's see if this will work.
Southern was created back in the late 80s by a combination of Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation, Hillary Clinton, the wife of our governor at that time, Bill Clinton. Our Walton Family Foundation was involved. And it was just an effort to use a different kind of a finance mechanism to address the issues of low-income folks in Arkansas. We all had a concern and we wanted to do something about it.
When I was Arkansas's governor, a big focus of my economic development efforts was on increasing investment in distressed areas. And in 1986, we established the Southern Development Bank Corporation, now called Southern Bancorp in Arkadelphia. Southern Bancorp is now the largest rural development bank in our country. By focusing efforts on education and economic opportunities at the local level, Southern has been able to tackle the two main obstacles that contribute to the cycle of poverty.
The group of visionaries who founded Southern Bancorp probably hoped, but certainly would not have guessed that an initial investment of approximately $10 million would over a couple of decades turn into a financial institution with over $1 billion in assets, over 80,000 customers, and 40 locations throughout underserved markets in South Arkansas and the Mississippi Delta. We've surpassed $3 billion in loans and leveraged our own profits along with other philanthropic investments to more than $170 million in community investments. I think it's safe to say that our founder's vision is being realized.
Southern is different from other banks because of our very unique mission. Our mission is to make a difference in the lives of people by empowering communities to really support and sustain themselves. And not only are we giving back to the communities, we're really investing at the very heart, in the hearts of people. And by that, we engage in strategic planning processes that are designed to really think about where communities are hurting the most. We listen to our communities, and then we work with them to meet their needs.
So again, Southern, we're more than just a bank. We were founded to not just make a profit, but really to make a difference. We were founded really to create economic opportunity, and that's what we try to do every day. I'll tell you a little bit about our structure. So we're really three separate entities. Southern Bancorp, Inc., or the holding company, which I have the pleasure of being CEO of, is 100% owner of Southern Bancorp Bank, which they both are regulated institutions. And then we have this nonprofit, unregulated financial institution, which is really a loan fund, Southern Bancorp Community Partners. All three of these entities are community development financial institutions as designated by the Department of Treasury. And we all have the similar mission of really trying to afford a responsible and responsive capital and credit and financial services to rural communities that we serve. We're about building businesses, creating jobs, and revitalizing the communities that we work in. We look at net worth as a proxy for really creating economic opportunity. A number of studies have suggested that not race, not even income sometimes, not geography, not gender, more than anything, net worth really determines whether someone moves up the economic indicator, economic ladder, have economic mobility, where they are able to move up. And unfortunately, 70% of the people who are born in the bottom quintile never move out because they don't grow their net worth. And so those families who do move out typically have more equity in their homes, own a small business, have accumulated some savings. So we really work to try to improve people's net worth. And our theory of change, really, we use tools. We use financial services and banking. We use financial development service, which is credit counseling and all these other services. And then research, public policy, and advocacy. Really, those are the tools that we use to try to drive net worth. And we've got several things we focus on. We focus on jobs. We focus on savings and accumulating assets. We focus on revitalizing neighborhoods and communities, home ownership and entrepreneurship, really with the goal of increasing individual net worth and thereby creating economic opportunity in the communities that we serve. And now this diagram, Josh, you used to work for self-help. You probably recognize this. I actually stole this from Martinique. This is really important for any organization that really is about social change, about economic development, about doing things that are needed. And that's really balancing the mission of your organization with financial stability. As Martin would say, mission plus margin. And we really work hard. And sometimes we've lost focus, but really try to stay focused on making sure that we balance both the mission of our organization and also being financially stable. The work that we do, it's difficult work. If it was easy, then we wouldn't need as many people as we have in the room today. It is difficult work. You've got to be resilient. You've got to be patient. You've got to be persistent. But you also really have to act and work aggressively and boldly, but never losing focus on your mission plus financial stability, because so often mission creep sets in. And we've seen this in Southern. Sometimes we may chase funding opportunities that may not be closely aligned with our mission, and you find yourself having some mission creep. Really stay true to what you do and who you are. It's what's benefited us over the years. And we're proud to have some really impressive numbers. And this is just a little bit about our bank. You know, last year we did 562 small business loans under $50,000. We do about 6,000 loans annually. Half of those loans are less than $10,000. And you know, we do about $300 million in lending every year in some of the most high poverty census tracts in America, in the Arkansas-Mississippi Delta. So we see, obviously, real challenges. But we're proud of these results, and not just our lending, but we're also proud of our really financial development services, because we believe education is so important. We run a program called Arkadelphia Promise, one of the communities that we serve. And if you're a young person and you grow up and graduate from Arkadelphia High School or any school in Clark County, we make sure you go to school tuition free. The bank provides, the organization provides funding, and it's our promise to that community because we believe in education. And not just in financial education, but also in education. You see on this screen the match savings accounts, and you may have IDAs here in North Carolina. That's a program that we've taken advantage of, and unfortunately in Arkansas, more and more, and in Mississippi, more and more people are getting out of that business. But this is such a wonderful opportunity to help people build net worth, wonderful opportunity to create economic development. So if individuals who qualify can save $666 then it's matched 3-to-1. And they can use that money to go back to school, to start a business, or to buy a home or remodel their home. And it has been a truly success and really helped lift people up that economic ladder. And so we're proud of that work. Then all of our 40-plus branches, and many of them we run VITA sites, volunteer income tax assistance site. And this is very, very important because we make sure those families who qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit, which has been called the most bipartisan, best anti-poverty program in America. We make sure they qualify, make sure they apply and get that. And we've been responsible for returning over $30 million back to the communities that we serve. And that money's turned over and really goes a long way to revitalize those communities. So we're proud of these numbers. Now, our slogan is building communities and changing lives. And I want to talk to you about really 2 counties, and they probably will sound very familiar to some of the 85 rural counties that you guys serve here with the Rural Center. First is Phillips County, Arkansas. So in Phillips County, Arkansas, it is in the eastern part of the state of Arkansas, heavily agricultural. In the early 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, one of the most booming communities in Arkansas. But with the mechanization of the family farm and with large farmers coming in, the population continued to decline. So from about the 70s to 2000, that community lost probably half of its population. It ranks now as one of the 26 most impoverished communities. That's actually up a little bit. 39% are in poverty. 29% are what we call food insecure, living in some of the most rich soil, on some of the most richest soil for farming, and about 10% unemployment. Truly, we had challenges in these communities. But Southern, we came together years ago, and our approach is a strategic community planning process, and we assemble all the stakeholders, everyone who has a stake in the game, and they have a voice. And we really try to draw on the assets of our communities, things that work. We have detailed conversations. This planning process lasts for years sometimes. And we look at what the community has and what we can use to grow and create economic development. Our approach really, again, to look at those local assets. And in Phillips County is, like much of the Delta, it's known for its blues heritage. So we want to piggyback upon the blues community. It's also known for its tourism. Most important tourism in Phillips County is Civil War tourism. Several battles in the Civil War took place. So how can we take those assets that are in those communities and draw on those assets to create economic opportunities? That's really what we've tried to do. And then, of course, job creation is most important. And we focused on we're not going to bring in the next big Toyota plant. We've got to just come to realization. We've got to look at those businesses that we currently have. How do we maintain and grow those businesses? How do we serve the needs of the people there, using unique assets of that community to really create economic opportunity? And I want to listen to one of the businesses, Hoffinger Industries in Phillips County. It's the largest employer in the whole county. It was about to be sold and moved to China probably. Southern Bancorp and other organizations got together to save 137 jobs, which would have devastated that community, because we wanted to make sure we protect what we had, not just about bringing people in, but protecting what we had. I'll let you listen to the story of Hoffinger Industries.
Doughboy Recreational, which is our largest sales division of Hoffinger Industries, we manufacture the world's highest quality above-ground swimming pool.
This is a complete pool, liner, filter, ladder, just add water.
If it goes in a swimming pool, it's manufactured here. We're very vertically integrated. The Doughboy trademarked name is highly sought after. It's the most recognized name in the swimming pool industry. We had a lot of interest from outside companies, especially from Canada and from Asia, to buy the Doughboy Recreational brand. They needed our tooling and our brand name, and most likely would have taken the assets of the company and relocated them to their manufacturing facilities either in Canada or offshore. So Mr. Hoffinger wanted to keep manufacturing here. After he passed away, the shareholders got with me to orchestrate a buyout from the Hoffinger family. The principals of Southern knew that it was very necessary, and they had a desire to keep this facility and this factory and keep these jobs here in Helena, Arkansas and in Phillips County. So it became a top priority for Southern Bancorp as well. I didn't have to go anywhere else. I brought the leaders of the community of the bank right here in this table and said, gentlemen, we've got to keep this manufacturing here. Due to that meeting with Southern Bancorp and with Arkansas Capital, we were able to convince the former owners that we were the best suitors for Highfinger Industries. In all likelihood, this business would have been sold, this would be a vacant building. We're able to keep the factory here and keep the jobs that have been located here in Phillips County right here at home. So very fortunate to have Southern Bancorp to be able to understand our needs and work with us. The good support of a bank is vital to a community, it's vital to the business, it's vital to the employees. We just don't see our bankers once a year, we see them out in the community all the time. The more the bank understands our business, the greater success that both the bank and our company has. The roots of a community bank are still vital to America. And you know, we're getting these big banks, and with everything going internet, you know, you don't see a face, or potentially don't see a face. With the software right on our phones, we can do our banking, but yet the bankers still tell you, we want to make sure we see your face and come by and see us. And I think that's important. It's still what made America great.
I want to show you just one more, another gentleman that we finance in our business at Southern Bancorp, really who's striving to revitalize downtown.
Ever since I was little, I just remember coming down here with our parents, depending on, you know, coming to some stores or whatever, and I just so intrigued by these buildings, and I always said, well, if I can, you know, if I ever get a chance, I'd love to have one. I want something that will draw people down here, and that's going to help with that energy. I would love for a restaurant or something like that for someone to come in and do something. There's no social scene whatsoever. Southern's the one that's doing it. They're the ones that are cleaning up and these lots and these burnouts and all that. They're investing their money in that, which makes my property more valuable. I'm just glad that they're willing to take, you know, the risk and believe in me. And the main goal and where this energy is coming from is the people loaning this money, whether they're willing to take the risk with the people of the community to do this. You don't see anybody else up and down the street trying to help out this town, you know, any bank-wise like that. So since I've done my project, there has to be at least 8 to 9 buildings on this street. Our people's projects are starting. You know, there's side streets that I never would have thought, and that's just since my project started. And they're all customers right down the street. You know, they're customers with Southern. The energy is building. In 10 years, I think the majority of these buildings will have someone in them. The morale is getting better. It's not as dark and gloomy as it was, you know, 5, 6 years ago, you know, and that's the main, you know, that's the main deal why I did it.
This is Cherry Street in downtown Helena, West Helena today. You know, just 5 years ago, you would not see cars anytime on that street. Matt Emmons' project is going in. We save jobs, really drawing and building on the local assets there. A new charter school is located there, now employing about 1,100 students in it, employing about 200 people. The Civil War tourism is up. Number of blues festivals that come to the community, really drawing on the local assets that right there in that town. The next community I want you to hear about is Coahoma County, Mississippi. Coahoma County is in the northwest part of Mississippi in the Delta. Much like many counties, many Delta counties, many rural counties, it suffered from job loss. Crime was a huge problem. Lacked infrastructure or community infrastructure, not a lot of social outlets for the young people there. But again, we went through this strategic planning process, drawing on what the community already has as assets. Some 600 people participated in this process. So we engaged everyone, really focused around 5 pillars: economic development, education, health care, housing, and leadership. And we're starting to see signs of improvement in Coahoma County. Things are getting better. Again, you have to be resilient, you got to be patient, but things are getting better. Again, focusing on the local businesses. We did a SWOT analysis. What are the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities in these communities? What can we draw on? What can we promote? And again, once again, blues, heritage and history in this town, and also tourism. Ecotourism and agriculture tourism is, as well as trying to create jobs by focusing on the small businesses that are right there. And of course, I want to. They've already been acknowledged, but the 2 banks that were acknowledged, I believe, was Yadkin and Select Bank. I want to really applaud them, because really the key to economic opportunity sometimes is opportunity for capital and credit. And in rural communities, banks are abandoned in rural America. Some 20 years ago, there were 15,000 plus banks. Today, there are less than 6,000 banks. Less than 7,000 banks, and those banks are leaving rural America. And it, you know, we see studies where the further and further business gets away from traditional capital and credit, the more it relies on alternative capital or credit, the more it becomes really unstable and insufficient. So working to provide capital and credit for those businesses in rural America is very, very important. So I want to applaud them and thank them for their work. In Coahoma County, we also really piggyback on partnerships, and we were fortunate and blessed to have almost a one-man show, a guy named Bubba O'Keefe, and he is really single-handedly almost revitalizing downtown. If this video works, I want you to hear a little bit about Bubba.
I grew up in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and just looked around at downtown and just saw that it was just on its last leg. And I thought, well, if I'm going to live here, you know, I want to do something about it. And I bought a 3-story building, found out the history behind it, and so I set out to do another building. And then there was another building, and it just immediately became my passion. I feel like that we're helping save Clarksdale one building at a time. Southern Bancorp did allow us to pursue this dream when not everybody would have, but they stood up and said, hey, we want to help you. And that's what it's about. It's mind-blowing. I never dreamed that we'd be so far so quickly. Oh, it's a miracle.
Bubba has almost single-handedly really revitalized, we'll skip it, almost single-handedly revitalized Coahoma County, Clarksdale, Mississippi. If you have a chance, you wouldn't believe that one building you saw, that Yazoo Pass. It was an old Woolworth, abandoned for years. Bubba bought that building. We invested with Bubba, and the downtown, the first floor of that building, Yazoo Pass, is one of the best restaurants in Clarksdale. Great gathering place. But above that, he has about 7 high-end condominiums. You live, and when I get a chance, when they're not sold, I try to stay there because he gives me a cut rate. But when you go, when you go there, you think you're like in New York. I mean, it's stainless steel appliances, it's granite, it's unbelievable. He sold each one of these condominiums for second homes for people all across America who want to come there for the blues scene. So that's really just capturing what was already there, not trying to bring in a new job or trying to create something, but drawing what was already there, repurposing the infrastructure that was there. And so really appreciate people like Bubba, and there are Bubbas all over rural America who really believe in and are passionate about their communities, and we've got to connect with people like that. You know, at Southern, we talk about our logo of building communities, but we also really about changing lives. This is the people business. We're in the business of changing lives in people, making transformational changes, and so we really focus on the changing lives. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what the difference that we make and that I'm sure you all are making in people's lives every day in rural America. Again, at our core, we are a financial services organization. We try not to stray too far from that mission and try to balance the needs of our stakeholders to really stay true to that, and you can make a real difference in lives.
When I first came to Southern Bancorp, my credit wasn't good at all. I had no financial direction. I found out about different services that Southern Bancorp was providing. So I met Ms. Charleston Harris, and she got me on a good track with my credit. If I had never come to Southern Bancorp, I wouldn't be on the path that I'm on now. I'm about to have a home constructed, and it's a really, really huge opportunity. What makes Southern Bancorp different is the people services. They provide programs to help people, programs to help build and establish not only people, but communities. Every chance I get, I refer people to come to Southern Bancorp because Southern Bancorp has made a difference in my life.
So really, we are in the people business, but it's really all about inspiring hope. And I know that's important to you, it's important to us. There's so much more that we can do, and we're excited about the work that we're doing. And just like the Rural Center, we strive every day to inspire hope because there's so many opportunities that we can take advantage of. And sometimes you make a real difference. Our brand principle is to invest, empower, and transform. And when you're able to transform a life, it is meaningful work that you're doing. You're really pleased. And really, that's what led me from suing banks to running a bank. Because that's what I did. I sued big banks. And now when I go home at night, I know that I'm making a real difference in lives. And so it's been a pleasure to be here. And I want you to share, hopefully this video works, at least the audio works, to hear the story of Tawana, who really, we invested in Tawana, empowered her, and now her life is different. Her family's life is different right there in rural Arkansas.
I was stuck, pretty much. I was kind of stuck. I had a low-income job that was just barely paying the bills and things. I had always wanted to be a nurse, and so I was going into school, and I was a single parent. It was just really hard, you know, trying to go to school, trying to raise a child in this world. It was points where I was sleeping on family members' couches, me and my son. It wasn't until I joined with Southern, they told me about the resources that I can get while I was in school as far as child care. You never know what someone is experiencing in their life at that point, and you never know what kind of help they need. To get someone that knows how to open doors for you and allow you to walk in them with your hand up, it really feels good for me to be able to get out now and have my own vehicle and my own home to come to, and my own stuff in my home. And I own my own couches, and I'm not sleeping on somebody else's. I really appreciate everything Southern has done for me.
That's truly transformational. She's doing a wonderful job now, and we're excited to have been a part of her story, just like the people that you affect every day. It's an exciting time to be here with you at the Rural Center, because this is really a rebirth. What's next for you guys? And I think that opportunities abound, and you guys, I know, will take advantage of them. And I hope that just a little bit of what we're doing at Southern may inspire you. And again, I invite you to Arkansas, Mississippi. We're your cousins. Come see us. Let's collaborate. Let's figure out how we can work together, because no one has all the answers. And this difficult work works best when you collaborate, when you work together, when you find the best practices, and let's share those practices. Now, I got a little sneak preview from Patrick of the strategic plan you've been working on, and I'm excited. I'm excited about what's next for you all, and I just wish you the best. If there's anything that we can do at Southern Bancorp to be of assistance, I'm sorry the videos were kind of messed up. Anything we can do to be of assistance, please call us, and let's make this begin a partnership, a friendship, a familyship where we really share ideas and share best practices, because we learn so much when we work together. Many of the things that I learned now, I learned from self-help. I came and spent 3 days with Martin figuring out what they do, how they do it, and we have some of the identical communities suffer some of the same problems. There's so many things that we can do together. So I just want to congratulate you as you take on this new challenge. You've overcome some difficult times, but the sky's the limit for you all. And so if there's anything that we can do, please let us know, and let's continue this friendship and this partnership. And thanks for inviting me to speak to you all today.